Hey folks, we just got a message from the National Monster Advisory Board that there is a possibility of a Godzilla eruption. And we're right now at the advisory level, so we're not too worried, but we're going to keep you abreast of this throughout the evening, because you never know when Godzilla is going to, well, become very serious or not. Right now, we're in an advisory, which basically means that conditions are ripe right now for Godzilla appearances and eruptions and, kicking up dust and stuff like that. So we'll keep an eye on it. Now, right now, let's get our pointer up here. Right now, right here, sort of southwest of Waterloo in the town of Voorhees, this is where we are sort of picking up some kind of seismic activity. You know, seismic activity is what sort of gives us a clue here in Iowa, right? Because we're not a naturally volcanic type of area. Now, deep in the seas of Iowa, we have a lot of volcanic activity, but not in some of the landed areas, okay? So when we get that kind of stuff, you know, we kind of take note. And the National Monster Advisory, the NMAB, okay, the NMAB guys sort of will be shooting us all kinds of alerts, and when we get news, we will sort of get it your way. Now, let's talk a little bit. What does an advisory again mean? It means that conditions are ripe, and what that means is, okay, when you have an advisory, okay, you know, when you get into warnings and things, they're much more particular to a particular area, okay? But when we get into an advisory, okay, this whole area up here could be affected. We don't know if Godzilla were to appear and come out in the Voorhees area, would he head to Waterloo? Would he go all parts north? Would he head south, down here, going down towards, maybe down to Marshalltown and things like that? Or would he take an easterly southern route and get into our viewing area, into Cedar Rapids, into the metropolitan area of Cedar Rapids? And you know, in 2006, we had a major Godzilla attack. With not only Godzilla, but Gamera got involved there. But when it gets that bad, you know, that's when we bring in the Japanese army. Let me show you again. The Japanese army sort of bivouac down here in the Burlington area. We always keep every state has sort of an area where they keep their Japanese army. And our Japanese army is down here in Burlington. Yep. And see, and I know right now, okay, they're abreast of this. They're saying, "Whoa, you know, stop eating our stuff," and where Godzilla type of activity might be occurring. If we get to what are the various levels, of Godzilla stuff? We got the advisory, which again means that the conditions are ripe. Okay, and that's the word they use. I'm not me misspeaking or anything like that. That is, okay, it's ripe, okay, for a Godzilla eruption. So we call them eruptions, right? Because where are they going to come from? You know, he comes from the ground, right? He's going to come up. So the next level, okay, is that an actual sighting has occurred. And we call it, the NMAB guys, okay, they call that sighting alert. Okay, and that means Godzilla has been seen, but is away from large populations or is static, meaning he's just kind of standing around, you know, kind of looking all over the place, you know, and then you're kind of, it's like, whoa, you know, is he going to leap all of a sudden, you know? Hey, got my, okay. Now, so Godzilla has certain kinds of maneuverabilities, but if he's standing static, like that, you don't know what that could mean, you know, because sometimes having him move, at least you know where he's going, right? Like this. He's like, oh, he's heading to Dubuque, okay? Or he's heading over to Eau Claire or something like that, right? And we don't, you know, if it goes over to Illinois, that's their business, okay? But the issue is that, okay, he's standing still, static. He's contemplating. Well, I mean, look, you can see it in his face. He's thinking, where am I going to go? You know, Godzilla's got a brain. It's not too hot. You know, it's up here. Okay. Actually, he has two brains. He has one up here, and he has one down in his tail. More on that in a little bit. But the brain up here is thinking, where am I going to go? Sometimes the brain down here is thinking, I'm going to go over there. But okay, so he's sitting and he's thinking, am I going to move? And he might move his arms and things like that. That's the sighting. He might be static. Or he might be away from, he might be in a farm community or something like that. The next one is warning. Warning, right? Well, that means Godzilla is moving and he's heading your way. I mean, look at this. Okay. So Godzilla, he's on the move. Okay, so that's a warning. Then, okay, the next level, and see, you might be thinking like, what the heck? We want to get back to the movie. I apologize, okay, for interrupting the movie. But better be safe, right? We want to take care of the population. We don't want you to be putting yourself into jeopardy. So I'm going through all these levels of alerts. And the next alert is, okay, doppelganger alert. Now this one's not too good. This one here is if you got two Godzillas. This is rare, okay? This has only happened in a couple instances in recorded history in Iowa. Okay, it happens more frequently, sort of in the different oceanic areas. But two Godzillas, okay. Now the thing with two Godzillas, they can go that way towards you, right? And then they can destroy things and stuff like that. But then another is that let's say he steps on this guy's toe over here. Whoa, tearing flesh off and crap like that. That not good, okay? Because then they start rolling, right? And then they roll over the cities, and that's bad. And when it gets to that point, okay, we get to what's called evacuate stage. And that means get out of there, clear out. Don't even think about it, right? Because you might think, oh, he's going to fall that way, so I'll run under here. Okay, like right through here. Okay. And then all of a sudden he goes bang, and he falls right on you because you can't predict that kind of stuff. No way, no how. Okay, so bad. Okay, and then the final alert is the mega apocalypse level. And that means just you're screwed. Forget it. Okay, and you think evacuate is bad. Evacuate means at least you have a chance to get out of there and get somewhere. When it comes to the mega apocalypse level, stay where you are and just sort of eat a sandwich, okay? Because enjoy that sandwich, because it's the last sandwich you're going to have. Okay, no. Okay, well, again, up here in the Voorhees area, okay, just the southeast of the, southwest, of the Waterloo area, we have some kind of activity. We got, whoop. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. That was the Burlington bivouac where the Japanese army is, and they are already making maneuvers. And how that works for them is that they will get onto the river. And this is the problem, right? Because these guys sort of they travel on water a lot, so they'll move up here, and then at a certain point, just right probably here in the Muscatine area, they will disembark, okay, right there, disembark from Muscatine, and then head up towards there. But they're not in transit yet, okay. And when they are in transit, get out of the way. I mean, you don't want to impede their emergency procedures and stuff like that. Martial law could be issued, and then they could throw you in the slammer. Okay, and obviously they're doing that for your good. So let's go back to the movie and enjoy.
One 121. 121. 21. 111. 30. 40. 50. 50. 50. 50. 1. 0. 0. 0. 1. 50. 50, 55, 100, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 21, 21, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Idiot. Idiot.
Well, we're back here again. Sorry to interrupt the movie. We're breaking in with some breaking news as you know, we were having an advisory of the type that was getting the Japanese army kind of riled up, getting ready to maybe take off. And up here in the Voorhees area, we had some activity. Now we have been told by the National Monster Advisory Committee or Board, okay, depending on what you want to call them, they change their name all the time, is that we have upgraded that to a sighting. Whoa. And the sighting, okay, now we noticed that there was a seismic activity right here in the Voorhees area. The actual sighting is taking down here in Eagle Center, okay? So that's not far off from the epicenter of the origin of the disturbance that we were recognizing as might be a Godzilla eruption. Try saying that 5 times. But the whole thing is we've seen them, okay? And at this point, it's only one, okay? So we'll work with him. So again, a sighting means that we've seen him, right? And he's moving in a certain direction, okay, at this point. He's not static. Remember we said that a sighting, he can be seen, but he'd be static, okay? Here, he's moving, and he's moving in this, through Black Hawk County down, okay? And of course, remember, you know, they go as the crow flies. Right? They don't follow the major roads and things like that. They're going to go across the countryside. They might have to cross some roads, things like that. You're used to that with deer, right? Who cross your path and things like that. Watch out when this guy does, right? So they're heading down, and right now we have noticed that the Japanese army is on the move itself, and it is in the river in their pontoons and ducks and stuff like that they use. And right now they've already gotten in on the Burlington area, and they're going to go up here. And right now they're up here in this area near Kingston, and they'll probably stop there because I hear there's a great ice cream joint right there, and they'll probably get some of that ice cream, and then they'll be satisfied, so that they can fight Godzilla if they have to. Now, hopefully they don't have to, right? Because, okay, let's talk about Godzilla. There are some characteristics about Godzilla that we got to know about, and you know some of this basic, and I wrote it down here for us here. One, he's big, okay? And there's stories about, you know, different sizes of what kind of Godzilla is going to come out. Now, he can range any size from, let's say, a 2-story building. We're hoping that, and that's on the small range. And he could be as big as a battleship. Okay, that's big. You know, take a battleship and stand it up, right? No good, right? So we have ranges of Godzilla in size. Likewise, okay, now that's one reason, and makes me wonder, I'm going to call a place. Yeah, okay. So is he on the move? He's just standing right now. Okay? So where is he standing? Okay, hold on, folks. Thank you. He's right now standing. I mean, he came down through Eagle Grove, and he's right here in this area right here by Mount Auburn. Okay? And he's just standing there. And the reason I ask that is because, okay, depending on how big he is, how far away can you see him, right? So if he's big as a battleship, You could be clear down here, maybe, and you could still see him, maybe, right? So he's sizable. He's not as big as a battleship this time, which we're lucky. He's about maybe the size of a 4-story building, okay? And that's dangerous enough, right? Don't mess with Godzilla. Another thing about Godzilla is that he obviously walks, okay, on these 2 legs. He has these arms that are really kind of more useful than they are on a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something like that, right? Because he's got these little stubby things, right? But he can reach out, right? So don't think, oh, he's like T-Rex, right? All he's got is a big mouth. He bend down and get me. No, he can pick you up and throw you around, right? And eat you, right? So don't screw around with that. Likewise, okay, some characteristics that are important about Godzilla, okay? He can run and stamp on you. Okay, that's one of the standard ways.
How fast can you run?
Well, that's debatable. There's research that's being done right now, largely because there's so many of them. It's not an issue of how fast can he run. It's just how big is he and how big are each of his steps, right? So if we're saying as big as a 4-story building, those are very large gates that he can take largely to. He can hop, okay? Anecdotally, we don't have any record of it on tape or anything like that, but anecdotally we have heard stories of him. For instance, let's imagine this is a barn here, okay? And that he can come up here and hop right over. Actually, that's not a bad thing, okay? Yeah, okay, because he hopped over your building. Let's hope he didn't hop over here, right? And your building is there, and then you got jumped on. Another anecdotal thing, and something that we have seen occur recently, more often with Godzilla, let me take this off right here, is this, the tail structure. He can run, okay, and he can slide on this tail. Okay, now you might have seen this in some of the documentaries like Godzilla versus Megalon and things like that. Those documentary films that chronicle the movements of these creatures. Okay, now we kind of wish that we had Megalon around here. Okay, but yeah, they can slide, right, like that. And if they can slide up there like that, and that means that their legs will be up, right, like this, and they can kick you, right, kick you right in the. Well, it wouldn't be the gut, would it? I mean, you're not that big, right? So it's just going to like kick a building or something like that, knock that down, knock a bridge down, stuff like that, right? Because that's a big thing, that another characteristic, they just love to knock things down. Another thing that they have, fiery breath. Now this fiery radioactive breath doesn't always use it, could, when it needs to, like it gets into a fix or something like that. Let's say that he's battling some things there and a helicopter flies over, right? Like that. And it's like, whoa, burn that thing out of the sky. Maybe some jets, things like that. That's very radioactive. Now, another thing about Godzilla, when it's taken into battle, and let's imagine that it is in a doppelganger warning, that these 2 guys are fighting. Well, usually when these guys fight, they rip off parts of flesh. They might tear a leg or an arm off or something like that. Don't be thinking that that's vittles. You don't want to think, whoa, look at that hunk of Godzilla flesh. I'm going to take that whole leg, okay, and that thigh, because they are kind of chicken-like, they're like a big chicken, okay? And you're going to take that thigh and I'm going to cut it up and stick it in the freezer and I'm going to eat it. No. 1, okay, highly radioactive. 2, these guys carry salmonella, okay? Just like certain animals, right, like small turtles and things like that can cause salmonella, right, in handling them. So don't think about handling any parts of Godzilla that's hanging around, right? Another issue with that, too, is that being something that does the salmonella thing, they also kind of stink. And that's another thing. We have another kind of registration. Besides seismic activity, we can smell it, right? So you can sniff it out, and they smell kind of swampy, okay? And they kind of attract flies and mosquitoes and gnats and crap like that. So as they're walking around, they got like maybe halos of flies around them and things, and really stinking. Okay, stinking pretty bad. Okay, so right now again, we are at a, put these guys down, we are right now at a sighting. He is okay, thank you. We are upgrading, okay? Not only is it a sighting, now he's moving towards a populated area. We are in a warning zone. And the warning affects, okay, all of the counties here between the Waterloo area, because he could certainly go back north again. Okay, we don't know. Godzilla, you know, he calls his own rules and things like that. There's no way to say, now you're committed to the south, you go south. But no, he goes, I'm changing my mind, I'm going to go north. So all of the area from Waverly all the way down to Iowa City is in the range. And the range has also been extended down to Marshalltown and up to Manchester. So all of those counties, and we'll let those counties run along the bottom of the screen so that you can keep track of that. So we are now in a warning zone. Okay, meaning Godzilla is moving and he's heading, and where we think he's heading right now? Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids, there's something about the river down there that is going to attract him. He brings him through. And of course, where might he ultimately be heading is the Mississippi, right? Very often they're moving towards large water areas and water routes. So the Mississippi being the largest, you could follow that from Cedar Rapids by major tributaries and dump in. That's why the Japanese army, okay, might, why they use the rivers as a means of maneuvering, okay? And, yeah, I figured as much. Okay, are they done? Okay, good. Japanese army is done eating their ice cream down here in this area down here, and they are now disembarking on land, and they're heading up towards the past Muscatine into the Iowa City area. They move rather quickly. And what that means now is that stay off the roads, okay, in those areas. If you see the army coming down, they're not like Godzilla, right? They're going to have to use the highways and the interstate and things like that to travel. So if you see them, pull off to the side of the road and be courteous to those guys so that they can get up there and take care of business because, okay, we want them to probably get up here fairly quickly so that they can set up a phalanx on the northern west side of Cedar Rapids so that they don't want them to come into the major metropolitan area. They want to deter that, right? They'll probably want to meet them at Vinton and set up, that'll be where their big battle will be, to try to deter them from going back, okay, and destroying Cedar Rapids, or to turn them back. Sometimes you can turn them back and then they can go back. We know that they're up here in the Voorhees areas, that there's a great big crater where he came out of. If you dissuade him enough, he might go right back into that again and go back into hibernation. Okay, so again, we are in a warning. Godzilla is moving. The Japanese army is making its moves as well. Okay, let's go back to the movie and if we get anything that is needful, we'll be back with you. Folks, we're back again. We are in obviously a warning area, and we just wanted to remind you about that. We're not in a doppelganger level yet. There's only one Godzilla who's been sighted. However, we have been notified by the National Monster Advisory Board that there's a little bit of seismic activity that was sort of parallel to that which was coming out of the Voorhees area. Now, by logistics of geology, there often when there is one eruption, there is another one that sort of parallels it. And the parallel geological space that Voorhees corresponds with is over here in Maquoketa. And Maquoketa has been, and boy, I hope that Maquoketa doesn't have, I mean, they got one of the lone drive-ins left. We don't want that to be destroyed. But we've got some kind of seismic activity occurring there. And you know what that means? So there is an advisory for perhaps a doppelganger alert, okay? That they could both be, if we got another one coming out, then, whoa, then we'll really have troubles. Now, questions always, what do, okay, when you are out or even in your house and, you know, you're going to protect yourself from Godzilla? Well, okay, one, okay, if we move to an evacuate type of thing, or even in a warning and we're not able to get to you fast enough, you see Godzilla, get out of your house. Get out of your car if you're driving. Remember, Godzilla likes to knock things down. So if you're inside of something that he knocks down, you get knocked down. You know, so get out of there. Likewise, car, what do you like to do? He likes to kick a car, you know? Kick a car, pick it up, nibble on it, you know, maybe blow some fire on it, stuff like that, blew up. Okay? So get out of your car. Well, if you're out, you know, where do you go? There's debate about this, but my experience with Godzillas and my years in reporting about Godzilla rampages is that go out into a field, okay? Now this is going to sound counterintuitive, but go out into a field and find a ditch, find a culvert, okay? Get inside there, lie down inside that culvert, and get as flat as you can in the culvert. Because, now Godzilla at this point, now this all depends on the size of the Godzilla. If it's a small Godzilla, that might not help as much. But we have a 4-story size Godzilla, and this works for 4 stories and up, okay? Is that this is a pretty good sized foot right here, okay? So if you're in a ditch right here, he might be able to step right over the top of that ditch, okay? And you're gonna be okay. Now the key is, get a ditch that's deep enough. Because his foot coming down is going to create an impression, right? You might kind of, you know, it's like, if you ever tried to hide under a bed, okay, and somebody on top gets on top of the bed, if they're heavy enough, right, they're going to kind of crush you, right? So same here, foot comes down, it might come down on your chest or really compress you, and well, they could kill you. Okay, so get a deep enough one, and you're probably in a good shape. Getting underneath of a bridge, forget it. That's not a wise thing, because remember, he likes to knock things down. Stay away from power lines. These guys like power lines, right? I mean, and here's another debating issue, you know. I mean, do they get more power by going underneath electrical wires and sort of nibbling on them, right? It doesn't seem to really hurt them that much. They can walk right through. They're like the 50-foot woman or something like that. So stay away from power lines. That could be a danger. And stay away, long ways from them, because if he knocks them down, right, live wires out there, that could be curtains rocky. Okay, and that's again another piece of technical talk that I went to a seminar by the Japanese Army, who are right now probably down here in the Washington area. Okay, right here, Washington. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, I got to turn on my little sensor thing. Right here in the Washington area is where I heard last that the Japanese Army is. They're probably going to, and of course, what they would have normally done outside of Washington is that they would have went to that cheese house and got some of that squeaky cheese, but that place is closed. So in some ways that's a benefit for us. That means like, no squeaky cheese, let's just get going, right? We're not going to waste our time by even knocking on the door to even see the place, because they might weep a little, okay? Because they usually like that. They always stop at some of the scenic places on their way to fight Godzilla. Okay, now, another thing you can do, Okay, now I know a lot of you live in areas that have National Monster Advisory Board certified shelters. Now these are constructed specifically for, well, like storm shelters. They're more sophisticated than a storm shelter. They're deeper in the ground. They can take a lot more abuse. And they're stocked with food and things just in case Godzilla decides to just kind of stop right there on top of you for a week or so. And he can do that, right? Because the stomach area of Godzilla is quite cavernous. And he doesn't need to eat all the time, but when he does eat, watch out, he eats a lot, okay? And so he can say, I ate a lot and I'm just gonna stand here for a long time. And that's not too good, right? You're stuck down there, no food, right? And think about it, he ate a lot, he's probably gonna have to evacuate himself, right? And he, a lot of poop all over the place, right? And Godzilla poop, that green stuff, oh, no good, no good. And you stay away from that stuff, I mean it. Okay, now, another, if you can't get into a certified shelter, find where the Japanese army is and go the other way. Yeah, that's what I do. See the Japanese army coming this way towards me? I'll just go that way the other way and say, I think they know where they're going. They're going to fight Godzilla. I'm going to go the other way where no Godzilla is. Now, the scary thing is that what if you have a double eruption and you got your two Godzillas some distances away, and the Japanese army is going one way? Well, you go the other way, you end up with the other Godzilla. I don't know what to tell you at that point. That's just sort of that's one of those things that you have to make your own decision. After a while, you got to grow up, don't you? I mean, just come on. Take responsibility for yourself. Anyway, so what do you do? That's what you do. And right now, we... Really? Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's go back to the map. Turn that baby on. Okay. The Japanese army right now is moving through North Liberty, and they better move fast because we know that the Godzilla is just on the outside of the Vinton area. And the Japanese army probably wants to set up a line between Vinton and Cedar Rapids to protect that greater area, right? Not meaning that Vinton's not great and that Cedar Rapids is greater, but this is a greater municipal area, right? That's what we call it, right? Big city, okay, versus little city, Vinton, okay? So they better get going right now because they've got some traveling to do, okay? So let's go back to the movie. Right now, again, we are in a warning area, okay? And for anybody who is obviously in the areas that are just outside and north of Vinton, I would say, okay, we haven't issued an evacuate for the major areas, but those areas, I'd get out of there. Find your certified shelter, find your ditch, find something, right? At least have one in reserve. You could, with the time that we have, I doubt it. I was thinking maybe you could dig one, okay? We don't have enough time. Unless if you got like a backhoe or something like that, dig a big hole back there and just lay in it. Nice and cool down there. Okay, so, let's go back to the movie. Hey folks, sorry to break in on that great movie that you're watching, but I think you're going to, we gotta I mean, this is our responsibility, civic responsibility as news folks, is to break into your movies so that you don't get a chance to see them. Okay, so here, well, you know, last time we were at a warning, and that warning was basically for a lot of the county areas that we had indicated, from Waterloo down to Marshalltown to Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and we also were seeing that there was some kind of seismic activity that was occurring in Monticello. This is the thing that's worrying us right now. In the Monticello, the Maquoketa area, Maquoketa, Monticello, and Anamosa area is all included in this. They are now in a warning of their own, a separate warning, because we have now moved into a doppelganger alert. Another Godzilla. Now, this other Godzilla that came out of the Maquoketa area, came out of a cornfield out there, okay, and is now heading, because these guys seem to, you know, have to keep the balance of nature in some ways, right? So it's like if you get one, okay, and if you get two, okay, which is rare, but if you get them, they sort of attract, they're going to go to each other, and they're going to probably have to battle it out, right? So this Godzilla is moving this way, and the last we saw of him, he is now in Anamosa. So this is really putting the Cedar Rapids area in some jeopardy here. Likewise, the Godzilla that was up here in the northern section, just above Cedar Rapids, has now, he's virtually destroyed Vinton. We now have confirmation that that which was Vinton is no more. Okay, it is just a rubble of things, and I have to take my hat off, and we're sorry about that. But anyway, we're back to it. What do we got? Breaking. Okay. Whoa! This is not good. I forgot to talk about an important piece of information, and that's why do these guys kind of come out all of a sudden? Well, let's talk about that. Why do these guys emerge when they do? Well, sometimes construction does it, right? That's why it happens a lot in the summer, and it sort of corresponds with the state fair. Okay, when the state fair sort of is going on in Iowa, there's a lot of construction going on, and that sort of riles them up. Heat also can do that. Now, one of the things that we have going on, obviously now, is a great deal of thawing. We had a winter that was very cold. These guys were sort of in dormancy for a period, and now they've come up. So that thawing and an aspect of maybe some construction that was going on. We know that there was some road conduction going on in the Vinton area, okay? And likewise, the Maquoketa area was working on some stuff too. So that could have done it as well. A lot of times it's a mystery. You know, why did they come out? Well, hard to say. Hard to say. Okay. Now, okay. So, whoa, you're kidding? Really? Okay, folks. Not good. Okay. We are in a mega apocalypse area. No, I'm kidding you. Sorry. I'm just kind of giving you we're not in that yet. Okay, I'd let you know. Well, I tried to let you know a little early on that, but we're not. Okay, but we are in evacuate, and we are in a doppelganger alert. So all of these things are kind of piling up on each other. So right now, Godzilla, okay, is moving just outside of Cedar Rapids, okay, in the Toddville area. And the other Godzilla, okay, for convenience, we'll call this Godzilla 1. Now, Godzilla 1, okay, we'll switch these out a little bit. And let's imagine this is Cedar Rapids, right here. No, not that one. No, I want to drink that, okay. Hey, yeah, this. That's Cedar Rapids right there. Neat looking. Godzilla is this Godzilla. Godzilla A, okay, is coming down like that. This Godzilla, let's see if we got to get this accurate. Okay, so he's coming down like that, so he'd be coming from over here. Yeah. Okay, so this is how that's sort of working out. There's much destruction in the path of these two guys. So anybody in Cedar Rapids, I'd say just get out of there. Okay? Now, here's the issue, right? Now, evacuate. You want to get out of there before you get to the point where you have to like get out of your car or out of your house, right? Because I mean, you got to get out, you got to go somewhere. So where you get out, and I would say the best route, since they're coming from these directions, is head. Let's go up to the map up here. Head down into Iowa City area, okay? Because right now they're converging up here. Now the Japanese army is large enough and of the type that, and they've also sent out a second unit, and the second unit is sort of a quicker unit. So they have now started to set up a front on this side of Cedar Rapids up here north, okay, in the Hiawatha area. And the other is setting up in here in the Springfield, Marion area. Okay, so how does the Japanese army do it? Okay, they've got lots of equipment that is made especially for a Godzilla attack. Now I'm imagining they got a little closer, so let's move them closer like that. Godzilla is vulnerable to a couple things. A rocket that is launched directly into the monster's mouth looks real cool when it hits them, and it usually, if you hit them just right, can kill them. Likewise, the soft part of the neck. That's why when you see these guys fight, they leap for the neck bit. Okay, so we're hoping that we can stop these guys so they don't get together, because man, they can fight all over the place here, and then they're ripping each other up and flesh flying and stuff like that, and of course missiles flying. Now, okay, so they have these trucks with these missile launchers on it, and they launch those right into, and they have this ability to sort of seek out those parts of Godzilla. Now, of course, Godzilla's moving and stuff like that. That's a difficulty. Oh, what?
Just then.
Whoa! We have a breach. Okay? I guess that the Japanese army, okay, on this eastern side didn't get set up fast enough. That was the secondary one. This one here is holding. So they're keeping this one back, but there is a breach, and he's moving out of the Marion area, and he's heading towards the downtown area in the Cedar River area. Right down in that area where they do a lot of festivals and things like that. And he's down there, and it says some trees have been knocked down on the edge of the Cedar River. Thanks for bringing this notice in. My crack team here, they're always on top of things. And I have some interns as well who are really sort of doing some yeoman labor here to get me stuff. Okay, so he's coming in through here. Got to get out of there, okay? That's not only evacuate, it's a bit late. We are basically in the mega apocalypse area for certain individuals at that point in there. All right? And again, I have to take my hat off to that. We don't like that to happen. So what we're going to hopefully have happen here, and look, yeah? Okay, thanks. Though they broke in, the Japanese army has reformed, okay, and it is making a following in to the town. Okay, and what they've asked is that they've broken off some of the Japanese army from up here, and they've sent them down here so that they can converge on the monster who is rampaging through the downtown of Cedar Rapids. And there are quite a few buildings that have been sort of decimated and things like that. So not a good condition at all. Let's go back to our movie. Folks, we're breaking into the movie again. Sorry. I know we were at a really good spot. But we have to. It is our obligation. It is our responsibility to protect our viewers. Now, we are in many areas in the location of the Cedar Rapids are in a evacuate, and many are in the mega, apocalypse area. Also, and this happens sometimes, these alerts kind of pile up, we are in a doppelganger alert. The two have not met yet, and we have some eyewitness footage of the lone Godzilla, this one, walking through the downtown area and doing some kind of damage. And likewise, we have some footage of him in a variety of different settings of him doing what he does. He's just walking at this point. It's interesting. It's sort of like a tornado. Tornado could travel along, and it blows around a lot. But if it doesn't really do anything as far as settling down and touching the ground or in populated areas, a tornado is sort of a harmless thing, I guess. Well, these guys are pretty harmless until they get near you, right? And then all bets are off. They'll destroy you. So we had that footage. Can we look at that footage? See now what I was talking about here. Some of the characteristics of Godzilla, the way he moves, the gait, the size, it's all there on display in that video. What? Well, this kind of contradicts some of the things that we've heard. It says Godzilla is now in the downtown Cedar Rapids, no damage to buildings. So I misspoke. There is no great damage going on. Only
old though too.
What's that?
Maybe they didn't see the new stuff yet.
Well, maybe not. Have been meters have been knocked down, and a few cars have been pushed onto the sidewalks. If you are in the downtown area, please stay indoors. Okay, well that's a new one on me. So maybe Godzilla's not that bad of a guy after all. Maybe he is okay. Maybe he's like, sometimes Godzilla's mean. Sometimes Godzilla's like your friend. So it depends on which Godzilla we got. Is he the friend guy? Is he going to have a tag team fight against... Whoa, and now here's another scary thing that could happen. Now, these two guys we might want these two guys to meet up. Because, now we haven't gotten any indication of this, but orbiting the Earth might be an alien spacecraft. And in that alien spacecraft, they might be housing some kind of large monster that they're going to release on the Earth to take over the Earth like they do. They always want to do that. And these guys might have to tag team fight them. Like, boom, 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 boom. And he goes and fights them for a while, and they go fight, right? So in that case, we want the two to meet, and that's sort of a benevolent version of a doppelganger alert. We would like that kind of thing.
Is there a chance that the other Godzilla could be his son? Or in relation to...
That we don't know the direct lineage of these creatures. I doubt it, in this proximity, they would have been a little closer to each other at that point, I think that they're not related to each other. Now, they're related to each other at the level of species, right? And phyla and all that stuff, whatever that is. They're related because they're both Godzilla type of creatures, right? So they're related that way, but I don't think a son or a brother or a sister or something like that. Think about it. If they were, we wouldn't have a chance, right? I mean, if we're picking on this guy and this guy is, let's say we're picking on this guy and this is the son of this guy, we're sort of in Gorgo type of mentality all of a sudden. If you remember Gorgo, we had fought this, what we thought was a big guy, but he was a little guy, and all of a sudden the mother comes who's a bigger guy, and they rescues that guy, and then they go away. So, no, God forbid that would occur, because then it would be total mass destruction and stuff like that. And of course, then we would feel bad too, because maternal stuff, it's like, oh man, we were picking on the baby and the mama was just so sad and stuff like that. And she had every right to kill us. Okay? So, just think about if that would happen, right? But I don't think that's the case in this. Let's go back to the movie. Folks, back at you again. We are keeping our eyes on the Godzillas. We have a doppelganger alert. We also have in certain areas an evacuate. In some areas it is a mega apocalypse type of situation, so it's all over for them. Likewise, we got news that we prematurely destroyed Vinton. Vinton is still standing. The population is safe. It was just a few outlying buildings that got knocked over that we had one of our eyewitnesses who's, well, we've tried to get rid of this eyewitness. This eyewitness is just not very reliable on stuff and kind of makes things up and likes to exaggerate, like, I got killed and got my leg ripped off. And then you go talk to him, it's like, how you talking to me? And how you doing that hopscotch stuff without a leg? And they go, I don't know. It's a miracle, that kind of thing. So I should have known when that person called in about the old Vinton thing. Sorry, Vinton, you guys are in good shape. We just have some unreliable guys. Yeah. Okay, now, what most recent developments here. Let's put the light on here. Okay. This Godzilla, okay, and let's watch that footage again for a little bit, because we had that footage of Godzilla rampaging through some populated area, okay? That was in the downtown area. We know that that situation has sort of improved, that he has now moved out of the downtown area. The Army has been able to kind of push him back, and where they want to push him is over into Illinois. Okay, they want to get them over there because then our Japanese army have done their job. They protected Iowa. So then the alert will have to come out of the Illinois Japanese army, and they're going to have to fight their own battles.
Somebody just emailed us a photo.
Oh,
you want to take a look at it?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Bring that up on the screen there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Getting ready to. It looks like he maybe wanted to push a building over or something like that. And we know that there's been minimal damage down there. What's nice about Godzilla is, yeah, he likes to push things over, but sometimes he just likes to look at stuff. So, sneeze here. And that's another thing. I am somewhat allergic. There are some allergies to Godzilla. And I know that we here at Kirkwood, we're kind of spared the being near Godzilla, but that stench gets picked up by the wind. And I think I picked that up. I have a Godzilla allergy, and I need to get to the pharmacist to get my medication so that I can keep on doing these kinds of things, because this might happen periodically through the summer months. So bear with me, folks. I was not prepared for this. When Godzilla is going to make an attack, you don't know when he's going to make an attack. So I was sort of low on my prescription on that thing. Okay. So now, so the Japanese army now has pushed this Godzilla out towards Mount Vernon, past Mount Vernon, and sort of going towards Clarence, moving pretty quickly. The other Godzilla, you might be asking, where is he going? He's following right after him. Okay, so let's sort of do a simulation of that. Let's see, he's front. We don't need Cedar Rapids anymore. So here he is, okay, and he's behind him. And of course, there's about 10 miles between them right now, which is fine, okay. It looks like they are not going to meet each other and do deadly battle. The Japanese army now, okay, so right here, they're moving down through that direction right there. Okay, can you see that right there? Okay, now in our simulation model over here, they're moving. Let's imagine that there's 10 miles between right here, but the Japanese army has divided onto both sides, and they're sort of channeling them, kind of like herding them, like cattle, and herding them down towards the Clinton area. They want to get them down to Clinton, so that they can jump into the river and maybe, now here's the issue, are they going to swim up towards Dubuque and up towards Wisconsin area, or are they going to go down towards the Davenport area, and of course what we would love for them to do is stay in the river and go all the way down to the Gulf, right, and disappear. And obviously, once it's out of our jurisdiction, now there's been a lot of legislation on this about who is sort of responsible for monster evacuation and monster battling and stuff like that. It's done by state zones. So anything within the greater Iowa zone, our Japanese army will take care of that. As a matter of fact, there is, as states are organized, there's another Japanese army right down in the Hamburg area, right down here on the Missouri area. There's another one up here in the Sioux Falls area, okay? And there's another one up here in the top up here, which you can barely see in here, up here in the sort of Red Mound, Lansing area, okay? Now, I know Red Mound is up here in Wisconsin, but these 4 locations, right, pretty well can take care of any monster situation. And the Japanese army right now is ushering those guys out of here. Okay, and really? You're kidding. Okay. That's from a viewer. He wants to see that monster footage again. So could we run that monster footage again for these guys? You know, if you got a request, you know, we want to try to satisfy that. So let's watch that that rampage and stuff of that monster rampaging and stuff like that. Oh, okay, good. Hope that guy didn't call back again. Now, let's go back to the movie. Folks, breaking news. We're back at you again. We're keeping abreast of this doppelganger Godzilla occurrence that has had us very worried for a time there. And we've done a lot of palavering about situations. We are now, the Cedar Rapids area and the Iowa City area, all of the areas actually, let me turn this back on again, all the areas now who are west of the DeWitt and Maquoketa area, you guys no longer have to worry. Okay, there's nothing. And as a matter of fact, we just heard that there is no orbiting spacecraft for us to worry about at this point. I know it scares me to think about that because they could unleash 2 monsters, right? And then these 2 guys got to work together. It could be 3, and then we're going to have to get Gamera, or we're going to have to get Mothra or Rodan in. to help us out. But fortunately, okay, no orbiting crafts or anything like that dropping monsters on us. So right now, we are pretty confident that the monsters are going to leap into the Mississippi River at this point right here at Leeds Grove area, maybe Andover, and it's a rather large area just above Clinton there in the riverbed, big enough for them to be able to course down, okay, and hopefully stay in the riverbed and vamoose, okay, and then some other state zone will open up, and then it'll be their responsibility, gall darn it. Okay, now, yeah? Okay, good, thank you. We have some footage of some damage that occurred sort of, okay, now Vinton was, we know that was an unreliable eyewitness, but there was some damage on the outside of a household in the Vinton area, and we have some footage of that. Take a look at that. I mean, that's sort of typical of the kind of damage that you see that Godzilla does. It looks sort of like wind damage. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I haven't talked about, that Godzilla does have the ability to not only create wind from his fiery breath, but sometimes the whapping of the tail, okay, as he walks, creates some kind of wind type of energy, and that can knock things down. Well, in this case, we know that that's probably more the case. It was sort of like not a direct Godzilla knocking down of stuff, but more of a secondary nature. So, yeah, now you can take a look at that footage. That, you know, everything's just sort of knocked helter-skelter type of stuff. Okay, and fortunately, we're in pretty good shape. Okay, a lot of the damage that we saw in the Cedar Rapids area was sort of minimal. Okay, maybe some knocked over cars and things like that, some meters and some windows knocked out, right, here and there. And most of the damage that was caused in there, it's the Japanese army blowing missiles in there, right? They're, I mean, you know, kind of sloppy sometimes, you know, because they miss, right? And then they'll blow something up and go, whoa, you know, we didn't mean to do that, right? But that they were going to tear that down anyway, right? I mean, that's how they do urban renewal in some places. Let them guys come in there, fight Godzilla, and blow things up, and they go, well, we're going to build a whole bunch of new stuff in there. Okay, so, okay, yeah, so not a lot of damage. We're lucky on that. Hey, let's take a look at that footage again of Godzilla when he was walking through the downtown area. Remember, it was this Godzilla. Okay, he's walking through. That's very typical of his gait. Again, we don't have any eyewitness reports of a reliable nature of chunks or hunks of Godzilla like lying about for you to be attracted to want to eat. I know you want to eat it, right? But just don't. And there isn't any out there anyway, right? So you can right now go back into your kitchen here in the Cedar Rapids area, go back into your kitchen and make yourself a sandwich and come back and watch the movie. Because right now, I'm going to call, okay, and see. Thank you. Where is Godzilla now? The two Godzillas, Godzilla A and Godzilla B. Excellent. Do we have confirmation of that? We do? Okay, it's not that one guy, right? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, thanks. And let me take my hat off for your service. Thank you. Now, that was confirmation. Godzilla, both A and B have jumped into this right here. Let me turn this on. right here. See this right here, this body of water right here in the Mississippi? They've jumped in there, and they're kind of swimming around and having fun in there and stuff like that. People might be saying, hey, Loch Ness Monster in there, but no, it's two Godzillas. And we know now that they played around in there, and they are heading south towards the Davenport area. Davenport is well fortified. They are used to these. The areas along the river, right, have cities that have like walls and things to keep Godzilla from going in. So they're in pretty good shape on that. So we know that chances are both of them are just going to head down the river and just sort of hightail it. Well, right now, we have no warnings. We have no alerts. We have no advisories. We are all clear. Woo, 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 woo. Hooray! Yay! We made it. Okay, so go back and watch your movie.